Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Mike Shea, your Florida business broker. And in keeping with a recent post I did on property management and on lawn care, one of the other businesses that we sell a ton of here in Central Florida are pool services. So I figured I would put out some content with regard to things that are important for buyers to ask or to take into account when they're running a pool company. So or buying a pool company or trying to ascertain value on a pool company. So I'm going to make my level best effort to give you some data points to kind of reconcile against what you might see on the internet at places like poolroutesales.com. So here in Central Florida, as you can imagine, given the heat, a lot of pool companies, and there are quite a few logistical similarities between pool companies and lawn companies. But there are some subtle differences. So this is going to be in no particular order, but the bullet points I want you to think about. Labor, fuel, and chemical consumption are primary concerns. As in lawn care, labor, fuel, and equipment are primary concern. The chemical costs, as opposed to a fixed cost associated with equipment in the lawn service world, are variable. And what are they variable on? They're variable on temperature. The heat levels here drive the chlorine consumption and dissipation in the pools. And generally, what you'll see is once the pool temperature drops below 90 degrees, the usage of the pool drops below as well. And the chemical required salts, phosphates, etc., required in the pool to maintain clarity drop as well. Simply put, the water's not boiling hot, it's not hot and humid, the sun's not beating down on it directly, there's going to be less evaporation, hence the chemicals stay in the water, and you don't have to keep pouring more chemicals into it. So therefore, your dollar cost per pool drops. Now, just as in lawn care here, it is pretty consistent that the billing remains the same per month, because pools do need to be brushed and cleaned off, but because of the chemical drop in usage and utilization, the amount of time per stop will drop during the off season. So what's the off season? This is where it gets a little tricky. It is not a blanket statement. You have to look at the geography within even the city of Orlando to determine what kind of pool it is. And what do I mean by that? So out in the Disney corridor, where pools get used even in the wintertime by the vacationers, and the pool heaters are running at really, really high op tempo, the pool temperature remains north of that 90, 85 degree mark, therefore the chlorine consumption continues to go up. But in other parts of the city, like in Lake Nona or Winter Park, you don't see that. So time per stop drops as opposed to out there in the vacation rental market. So subsequent differences between those two markets are subtly different. So there's a market within a market. We've got Greater Orlando, but then we've got the vacation corridor, and we've got traditional homeowner corridor. The size of pools will vary between the markets. You see a lot more what we call splash pools, 10,000 gallons and under, in the Davenport, Kissimmee area. We also see later homes built post the recession, when steel was at a high cost, and maybe now where steel is at a high cost because of tariffs. You'll see less new construction with lanais. The lanais also, as a caveat, affect chemical consumption because they in effect cool the pool by keeping debris out of the pool, dirt, and also providing some semblance of shade. The black screens, somewhat deflect some of the sunlight, and therefore temperature decreases. So chemical costs in non-screen pools are higher, and labor in non-screen pools are higher because obviously dirt gets in when the screens aren't there. So you got to spend more time cleaning, brushing, etc. Other variables that are important on pool routes, things like the density of the route. How many stops a day can a pool guy do, reconciled with size of pool and screened or unscreened? Those are questions you need to be asking, because it's time and labor, right? And fuel costs. If I have 5 pools next to each other, as opposed to 5 pools that are spread out over a 2-mile period, there is more revenue per non-movement of the vehicle, therefore your margins are higher. So density is really, really important. Now, something that gets a lot of, where I'll delta and I'll be differing from poolroutesales.com on, is repair revenue. Here in Florida, because pool pumps, pool heaters are above ground, in terms of piping and funnels, we do a lot more repairs here, and the op-tempo utilization of pools are different within the Orlando market, depending on vacation, non-vacation. What do I mean? For example, if I take my own pool, I can count on one hand how many times I've actually turned the pool heater on, as opposed to the pool heaters and pool pumps out in Davenport. Those things are turned on all the time, so the repair revenue associated with those types of pools in the vacation corridor are far, far higher. You will also notice that pools in the vacation corridor have a lower price per pool in terms of market rate because of the property management companies that control those pools, i.e., they're managing 50 pools for people who are absentee owners. They want to make a markup on the pool service, and they pool all the volume and subcontract it. So you see price per pool around the $75 to $80. The same pool in Lake Nono, Winter Park, Oviedo, maybe $85 to $90. There's about $10 or $20 difference. That's kind of the trigger point. Key points you want to know when looking to buy a pool company. There's obviously a lot more. If you want to know some more about it, give me a call, 321-287-0349.